I'm going to share with you an experience a sister sent to us concerning her encounter in hell and with the person of Jesus Christ. There is something many don't know about Islam. She was told this secret that many Muslims don't know of about Muhammad and Islam. This will bless you, brothers and sisters.
My name is Raya Abdul. I will do my best to summarize the incredible and terrifying events I went through. To fully explain it would take hours, but I hope to convey the essence of what I saw and felt in the time I have with you. I was born into a devout Muslim family, and from an early age, my life was shaped by the teachings of Islam. My parents were faithful followers of Allah and ensured I learned the Quran by heart, along with all the prayers and rituals. As I grew older, my commitment only strengthened. I would wake up early every morning for Fajr, the dawn prayer, and end my days with Isha, the evening prayer. Every action I took was centered around pleasing Allah, from fasting during Ramadan to giving zakat, the obligatory charity. My dream was to one day perform Hajj, the pilgrimage to Mecca, and I believed wholeheartedly that through my devotion, I would earn a place in Jannah, the paradise promised to the faithful. I followed the rules, avoiding what was forbidden and striving to live a life that reflected the principles of Islam. My identity and purpose were rooted in my faith. Little did I know that everything I believed in would be challenged in the most unimaginable way. One day, everything changed in an instant. It was an ordinary afternoon, and I had just finished offering the Dur prayer. As I stood up, ready to continue with my day, an excruciating pain struck my chest. It was unlike anything I had ever felt before, sharp and overwhelming, as though something inside me was tearing apart. I couldn't catch my breath, and as the pain intensified, I collapsed to the ground. Voices of my family echoed around me, full of panic, but they sounded distant, almost as if they were fading away. My vision blurred, and in that moment, I knew I was facing death. Fear gripped me, but I tried to hold on to my faith, repeating the Shahada, the declaration of belief: there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. With those words on my lips, the darkness closed in, and I lost all sense of the world around me. When I regained awareness, I realized something unimaginable: I was no longer in my body. I could see it lying on the ground, but I felt strangely calm, without fear. There was a surreal clarity about my situation. I was dead. The realization hit me, but there was no panic, just an odd acceptance of the fact. I had heard stories of what death would be like, but nothing prepared me for this moment, seeing myself from the outside. I was suspended in a space between life and death, unsure of what would come next. Suddenly, my surroundings shifted, and I found myself in a place unlike anything I had ever known. It felt as though my very soul was being burned. The sky above was a suffocating void, completely devoid of light or hope. Each breath I took felt like inhaling fire, and the overwhelming heat weighed down on me like a burden I couldn't escape. As I stumbled through this terrifying place, I began to see other figures, lost souls scattered across the bleak terrain. Their faces were etched with expressions of deep agony, sorrow, and regret. Some were bound by chains, while others wandered aimlessly, tormented by invisible forces. The air was filled with the sound of their suffering, the constant wails and cries for mercy. These souls were from different walks of life, all condemned to the same fate, enduring endless torment with no chance of relief or escape. In my fear and confusion, I found myself joining the cries of the other souls. I, too, called out for mercy, pleading for salvation. My voice, filled with desperation, echoed through the oppressive silence as I cried, "Allah, save us. Why have you forsaken us?" The pain and hopelessness of the moment were unbearable. I kept repeating my pleas, hoping for some kind of relief. But no matter how loudly I called out, there was no answer, only the haunting emptiness around me. It was as if our cries were swallowed by the very air of this desolate realm. As I continued to scream for deliverance, one of the demonic beings tormenting us turned towards me. Its voice was dark and full of malice as it spoke. "Even Muhammad, the messenger you revered, is here in this place." The words pierced through me like a dagger, leaving me stunned and in utter despair. Muhammad, the one I had been taught to follow and honor, was in hell, suffering like the rest of us. This revelation crushed what remained of my hope. If even he could not escape this torment, what chance did I have? As I processed the devastating truth about Muhammad, the demons around me grew even more relentless. They were monstrous, beyond anything I could describe, twisted, cruel beings that thrived on our suffering. Their presence alone filled me with an overwhelming sense of fear and despair. They tormented us without mercy, their laughter echoing through the void as they inflicted unimaginable pain. Every moment felt like an eternity, and with each passing second, my hope drained away. The reality of my situation became all too clear, there was no escape, no redemption. Suddenly, a piercing light broke through the suffocating darkness. It was unlike anything I had ever seen, brilliant, pure, and radiant. The demons, who had moments before reveled in our suffering, recoiled in terror. They shrieked and cowered, their twisted faces filled with fear as the light advanced. In the midst of this brilliance, I saw him, Jesus. He didn't need to say who he was, his presence was unmistakable. His calm, commanding authority filled the space, and the oppressive weight of the demons vanished in his light. The torment they inflicted melted away as they fled from his presence in sheer fear. As the demons scattered before the light, Jesus stood before me, radiating compassion and authority. He didn't speak many words, but what he said shook me to the core. With tears in my eyes and desperation in my heart, I fell to my knees and cried out to Jesus. I begged for forgiveness, for salvation, acknowledging the mistakes I had made and my need for redemption. Suddenly, I became aware of my body again. My eyes fluttered open, and I realized I was lying in a hospital bed. The sterile smell, the faint beeping of machines, and the soft murmurs of the medical staff surrounded me. From that moment, my life was no longer the same. I was filled with an unshakable sense of purpose and a deep, unwavering commitment to follow Jesus. Everything I had believed before now seemed insignificant in comparison to the truth I had encountered. I embraced my new faith fully, determined to live according to his teachings, spreading the message of salvation and redemption that had transformed my life. After my transformative encounter with Jesus, I faced intense persecution from my family. They had always been deeply rooted in their Islamic faith, and my conversion was seen as a betrayal. At first, they expressed their disappointment with hurtful words, questioning my sanity and accusing me of abandoning my heritage. My parents, once proud of my devotion, now regarded me with disdain. They would often bring up the sacrifices they made for my upbringing, reminding me that I was turning my back on everything they believed in. As time went on, their reactions escalated. They began to openly mock my faith, calling me a heretic and warning me of the consequences of my choices. Family gatherings became tense, filled with arguments and accusations. I was often excluded from events, left to feel isolated in a world that had once been my comfort. In moments of anger, my relatives would threaten to disown me, insisting that I was no longer part of the family. They feared that my new beliefs would influence others, particularly my younger siblings, leading them astray. I became a target for their frustration and fear, enduring verbal assaults and emotional manipulation in an attempt to bring me back to Islam. Despite the pain of their rejection, I clung to my faith. I understood that my journey was about more than just my relationship with Jesus. It was a profound transformation that required me to stand firm in the face of adversity. Through prayer and the support of newfound friends in the faith, I found the strength to endure the persecution, trusting that my testimony could one day touch their hearts as it had changed mine. From the moment I returned to life, I felt an overwhelming responsibility to share my experience with others. Everywhere I went, I spoke of Jesus Christ and the incredible change He had brought into my life. I told anyone who would listen about my encounter with Him, about how He had pulled me from the torment of hell and shown me the path to salvation. I used my story to inspire others, encouraging them to seek Jesus and accept Him as their Savior before it was too late. Reflecting on my near-death experience, I am constantly reminded of the stark reality of the afterlife. The darkness and despair of hell contrasted with the radiant light of Jesus Christ remain vivid in my memory. His power, His mercy, and the peace He offers are undeniable. Every day, I am filled with gratitude for the second chance He has given me. My hope is that through sharing my testimony, others will be moved to turn to Him and experience the transformative power of His grace. I want to encourage anyone listening to seek Jesus Christ with all your heart. The reality of hell is sobering, but the promise of salvation through Him is even greater. No matter your past or the darkness you may face, turning to Jesus offers hope and a chance for redemption. Don't wait until it's too late. Embrace His light and experience the transformative power of His love. If you found this testimony impactful, I urge you to like and share this video with your friends and family. By spreading this message, you can help others escape the torment of hell and find their own path to salvation. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel to stay updated on more powerful experiences shared by those who have encountered the divine. Your journey towards faith could inspire others to seek Jesus, just as I have. Thank you for joining me today.